Welcome to Peligro Life. Today, we're talking about the best things to do in Costa Rica. And because it's me, I'm going to be focusing mostly on things that are cheap, free, and a ton of fun. I will also give you my pro tips and the best locations to enjoy these adventures. So please, show your support and stick around because I have a few bonus tips that you don't want to miss on unique adventures to this beautiful country. If you're in Costa Rica, you have to go looking for animals. And in a country that has 5% of the world's biodiversity, it's really not that hard. Some of my favorite places to go see animals are national parks because these are places that have trails, services like bathroom, and they're very easy to get to. You can even hire a local guide if you want. If you're looking for birds, they're most active in the mornings and just before sunset. Scarlet macaws love beach almond trees, and if you're on a beach near the rainforest, you'll probably hear them before you see them. Sloths usually look like balls of leaves in a tree, so sometimes it's worth it to hire a guide who knows exactly where to find them. Stopping at the Tarcolis Bridge is a great place to see crocodiles. It's also good for souvenir shopping, and then my favorite, ice cream at Pops. I think the Caribbean near Cahuita and Puerto Viejo are some of the best places for seeing animals, and there's a ton of trails that you can go walking just to observe nature. Something else you can do is pick a hotel that maybe has trails or at least a great view of the forest and just sit on your balcony, sip your coffee, and watch all the animals as they come out. If you don't mind a little adventure, you can do what I do and find a remote dirt road and just see what's out there. You're going to want to bring bug repellent and binoculars. If you're going to spend a little bit more money on an adventure, I think whitewater rafting is where it's at. And the Rio Pacuari has been voted one of the top 10 rivers in the entire world for whitewater rafting. Honestly, there's some other options out here, but with a river as amazing as Pacuari, you gotta check it out. If you're like me, then you love food, and you gotta try some of the unique and delicious foods out here. Coffee and chocolate tours are really common, and it's a great way to enjoy two delicious things. My favorite local restaurants are referred to as sodas, and this is where you're gonna get an authentic Costa Rican meal. Here is a list of my favorite things that you have to try. Number 1, chifrijo. This is delicious. Rice and beans, what an authentic Caribbean flavor. Hati, this is your handheld Caribbean snack. Pinchos are just delicious grilled meat on a stick. Fresh fish is everywhere, but mahi-mahi or dorado is my favorite. The local fruits here are delicious, and you can get fresh fruit smoothies everywhere. Some of my favorites are a cold pipa on the beach, a delicious guanabana smoothie, and maracuya, which is passion fruit. You might even find a bakery serving passion fruit cheesecake. I'm sure beaches are already on your list, but you have to check out a sunset or sunrise on the beach. And the best part, it's public land, so it's gonna be free. Of course, the West Coast is going to be the best place to see sunset. And my favorite beaches are Playa Flamingo and Junquial. If you wanna see a beautiful sunrise, then head over to the Caribbean side on the beautiful beaches of Cahuita or in Punta Uva. Also, any place with the name Mirador, which means lookout in Spanish, is usually going to have a pretty epic view, and those can be found all over the country. National parks. They're so amazing here, you have to visit at least one. And I've got a playlist of videos that goes over all the things you need to know about each park as I visit them all. These are some of my favorites, but you can't go wrong with supporting local conservation. Cahuita National Park has an amazing beach trail that takes you through all sorts of habitats where you're gonna find monkeys and birds, sloths, and if you're lucky, maybe the oropel. Manuel Antonio is definitely one of the most famous, but has tons of animals, beautiful beaches, and is a guarantee that you're gonna see monkeys and iguanas. Poas is an incredible volcano high in the mountains with epic volcanic crater views when the weather allows. Rincon de la Vieja is a much warmer volcanic experience and has hot springs, steam vents, waterfalls, and a ton of geothermal features. Merino Ballena is famous for its iconic walk to the whale's tail, but there's also beautiful trails and even seasonal snorkeling. Tortuguero is famous for viewing sea turtles at night, but it also has some really nice rainforest trails that are a hot spot for jaguars, if you're lucky enough to see one. Last but not least, Corcovado National Park, the wildest of the wild parks in Costa Rica, where you're guaranteed to see a ton of wildlife, but you're required to go with a guide because it is so remote. I'm sure in your searches you've come across ziplining, an adrenaline-packed adventure flying above the canopy with incredible views. Monteverde is the original mecca for ziplining, but as it's become more popular, they're popping up all over the country. You can even book adventures with ATVs, ziplining, and tubing down rivers. My advice here, check the reviews and just don't go with a place like Uncle Jake's Zip Thingy. Surfing. It's no secret that Costa Rica is one of the premier destinations for surf in the entire world. And let me tell you, there is nothing greater than that feeling of going down the face of a wave in a beautiful tropical paradise. But as any pro surfer will tell you, the ocean is boss and you need to match your skill level to the conditions in the right spot. If you're learning or it's your first time, I highly recommend going to a beach like Samara, Tamarindo, Jaco, Nosara, or Uvita. These are great places where you can rent and teach yourself or even get a lesson. For intermediate surfers, places like Santa Teresa, Dominical, Playa Cocles, Playa Grande by Tamarindo, and Playa Hermosa by Jaco are great places to go and get that surf fix. Most pros already have their list, but you can find world-class surf at Pavones, Roca Bruja, Santa Teresa, Salsa Brava, and even Playa Hermosa by Jaco. Even if surfing isn't for you, you still want to go to the beach and check it out because there's talented pros everywhere, and the wipeouts are sure to put on a show. When it comes to waterfalls, there's so many unbelievable options that it's choice overload. The good news is you can't go wrong. However, the more famous waterfalls like Llanos de Cortez, La Fortuna, or Rio Celeste definitely get a lot more visitors and sometimes can be a little bit higher on the prices. Remote ones that take a little bit more effort to get there, like La Cangreja, Nayaca, and the Bribri waterfall, have more of that pristine and remote, peaceful vibe. There are also still a few well-kept secrets for the explorers of the world to discover and protect. If you're going to spend money to see animals, put it to good use and go to a rescue. The International Animal Rescue Center is by far my favorite, especially after we rescued that baby monkey, which you can see right here. I also really like the Jaguar Rescue Center near Puerto Viejo. While they don't always have jaguars, they do a lot of great work for the local wildlife. Diamante feels a little bit more like a zoo, but it's a great option for people who like that higher end experience and want to see a ton of animals. In addition to adventure, I love relaxation, and nothing is better than the beautiful hot springs all over this country. La Fortuna is definitely a great hot spot with all sorts of Disneyland style hot springs, but you can also get the free El Choyin version if you just want to go hike down to a river. When I'm in La Fortuna, I love staying at Montaña de Fuego because they have tons of trails, hot springs, and the red-eyed tree frogs come out just about every night. Guayabo is another cool volcanic town that has tons of hot spring options. Hiking is another great way to go explore nature. However, there's a lot of rain here and sometimes trails can get really muddy, making it hard or not very fun to go for a hike. National parks and wildlife refuges offer the best well-maintained trails. Some of my favorite places to hike are Cauhuita, Manzanillo, Rincon de la Vieja, Marino Ballena, and there's even a cool privately owned trail system in La Fortuna called El Bosque de Tío Victor. If you're up for a really big adventure, you can even climb to the tallest peak on Mount Chiripo. Here's a pro tip for you. Eco lodges often have their own private network of trails that are included in your stay, and beaches and rivers are always free. Also, you should check out a night hike to see a completely different shift of wildlife. For those of you who are 18 and older, nothing tops off a day of adventure like a cold craft brew. And I've been to my fair share of craft breweries here, and these are my favorite because they're good prices, have good food, and amazing people. Las Olas in Playa Grande has an amazing special with pizza and beer. I'm sold. Suicitico in San Isidro is an amazing place that is beautiful with good beer and delicious wings. Brothers of Ale in Huacas is more of what you would expect in a California trendy bar, but they know their food and they know their beer. Fuego in Dominical is where a classy tree fort meets a brewery. It has epic views, it's on the pricier end, but is definitely worth a visit. If you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe to Peligro Life. Now let's get to those bonus activities. On the Caribbean side, the shipwrecks of Puerto Viejo are super fun to explore, and you can actually climb and crawl through a few of them. If you want to see some indigenous culture in Costa Rica, check out the stone spheres and all of their mystery. Something else really cool to check out is going to one of the local festivals, celebrations, or even the regional soccer matches. As you can see, there's a ton of different things to do in Costa Rica, but when you're making your travel plans, be sure to include one of each of these things. A sunset beach walk, a visit to a national park, a fun hike looking for animals, a waterfall exploration, a visit to an animal rescue center, a paid tour, and I highly recommend whitewater rafting or ziplining. One local meal every day and at least one cultural experience. Thanks for tuning in today. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment of your favorite thing to do in Costa Rica. See you on the next adventure.